Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Croom Talk. Today is our end of the year wrap up, like we do every year. I'm here with Shane. Ending the 2024 year on a good note, hopefully. So, how's everything going, Shane?
Yeah, everything's been for the most part pretty good. I don't want to complain, I should say.
It's like who's gonna listen, right?
Yeah, there's always something to complain about, but I don't want to do it no more.
So, what's been going on in your neck of the woods?
Oh man, just trying to be patient for some opportunities to come my way and change my life. But God has a plan and His timing is right, and so I think at the right time it'll happen.
Did you have any like aspirations going into this year? I
Yeah,
mean, New Year's resolutions, I guess, for like the people need to break it down.
yeah, but they're pretty much the same as like every year, I guess. Try
But
to
how have accomplished them? Or
some, yeah, some kind of, but not really. Obviously, like losing weight and working out, and that we were on the journey together, and well, you did your thing, and then I was doing my thing, and I was doing pretty well at it, and I got some news that the opportunity that I was working for wasn't going to happen, and I kind of fell off. So I'm looking forward to getting back on
anything else though, as far as like your goals?
that. A lot of it was kind of just read the Bible more, which I did do that. Listen to podcasts more. I did do that.
Did you listen to any of mine?
I listen to yours.
You lying?
No.
You had to
My
think
boy
about
Eric
it.
Wood. No, my boy Eric Wood. I'd apologize to him for how I acted at the pod. That
It's okay.
was a long.
We all have our moments.
That was one of my worst. But, um, yeah, no, I definitely listen to your pods. I like going back and listening to ours a lot.
Yeah, the one with Chris, or
That one mostly.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's probably got one of the most views.
as it should.
But I mean, I think I don't remember exactly everything. It's funny. So the last podcast I did like for myself was pretty close to this time last year. And I know a few things that I mentioned, and I know one thing that I didn't accomplish, which I kind of steered away from actually. So health, first thing, blew that out of the water. Then I wanted to not drink as much.
Oh man.
Well, I feel like I did pretty well. Like I think the thing that I wanted to do was drink to celebrate things, like accomplishing something instead of just it being like a Friday or a Saturday. And I feel like I've done pretty well with that. And then I know I wanted to make more money, did that. And then one thing I know I didn't accomplish is I wanted to shoot an NFL game. And I mean, I kind of tried earlier in the year, and then there were just so many other opportunities that were more beneficial to like the things I was trying to do in that moment, and that I kind of overvalued it. So I like kind of like dropped the ball on that a little bit. It'll happen, but I'm not gonna try to go out of my way. I'm gonna kind of let that kind of take its place. I mean, I just love everything that I'm doing more behind the scenes, as far as the NFL game, instead of like doing that, even though that's the value for everything, is like being able to do that. But like the things I get to do behind the scenes that are more personal and like family oriented and stuff like that, I value that so much more than, putting 10 toes down on a field.
Yeah, because I feel like not not that there's a lot of people shooting NFL games, but there's a lot more people doing that than there is doing what you do. So I think that's really cool. And I try to, like, it's kind of funny because, like, when I explain people, like, what you do, I'm like, yeah, he's a photographer for the Bills, but not for the Bills.
Yeah. I feel like that's where the divide is. It's kind of funny because like, people always ask me the weirdest stuff, which, I feel like it comes with the territory. So I can't like, be too judgmental about it. But it's like, a lot of people, but I guess that's how it's portrayed though. So I can't like fault them for it looking that way.
I think you're living a lot of people's dreams.
Well,
In a
I don't
way.
want. I'm not saying it in that aspect. Just more or less like people would think that I work for the Bills
Oh,
based off the
yeah,
things I do.
sure.
But like as far as like, I mean, I'm pretty sure I've talked about it in a couple pods where it's like I've never shot a game in my life. I've never been on a field in my life. But like it may look that way, but for things I can't explain. But
Mhm.
you know, that's not what I do or
Yeah.
have done. But I'm loving this path I'm on. I've had the pleasure to do so many dope things, even this year.
It was a good year.
Going to Vegas on my birthday, with Daquan and Von Miller and pretty much the highest percent of defensive rushers in the NFL, and being able to celebrate my birthday
Yeah.
around those people and just being in those places that you dream of. I mean, a lot of people value things differently, you know, having nice cars or just I'm sure everybody wanted to go to Club Live because they heard it in a rap song and stuff like that. And just I'm one of those people, and being able to check off those boxes, let alone the people that I got to do it with, is just things I'll never forget in my life. And that's actually why I feel like I'm in a position I am now, mentally, my life can end tonight and I'd be 100% fulfilled in anything that I've ever wanted to do. So now it's my thing is how can I share that with other people?
Yeah.
Even Vegas, I brought Chris along,
Shout
so
out Chris.
he can kind of enjoy those things. Or the way I look at it is I work this hard to let people be a part of special things that people that value it.
Yeah.
Because there's so many people who could be around those situations and take advantage of it, or just neglect it and kind of ruin it in a sense. But it's just I feel like I've done enough to be in a space where it's oh, my boy's coming with me, and it's not a problem.
Yeah.
Because I've earned the right and the respect in those spaces.
Yeah.
And I'm just super content with how things are going right now.
It's awesome. I will say one thing, kind of, it wasn't a New Year's resolution, but it is one thing that you taught me that I definitely applied a lot more to life, and that's to be where your feet are. Legit.
Best quote of the world.
There's been a lot of times where I've almost kind of been in a situation where I felt like I didn't belong there, but I was there and grateful for it. I was man, you just gotta be where your feet are. Don't worry about nothing else going on. Don't worry about where you fit in, or am I supposed to be here? Am I not supposed to be here? Just enjoy it, be grateful, and that's something that I think I did a lot more this year.
I mean, that'll be my quote till the day I want that on my tombstone.
Be
where my feet are, and unfortunately my feet will be 6 feet under the ground, but just know that I'm where I'm supposed to be, right?
It was a hell of a ride.
No, I feel like that's such a beautiful quote, and I feel like I break that quote down in every single podcast because I just live by it, And for those who need an understanding of it in a bigger sense, it's just more or less be in the moment and embrace the moment that you are with the people you're with, instead of feeling like you need to pull out a phone and just hey, look at me for everybody else. Just that's where you'll find so much more self-value to know that you enjoyed something on your own, instead of feeling the need to oh, let me just Snapchat this real quick. Or people don't even enjoy the places that they're in because they're so more worried about sharing where they're at with people they don't even know.
Yeah.
It's a hey, look at me thing. It's very I feel like everybody lives life through social media. I think there's so many people out there look at influencers, right? I mean, I don't want to call myself an influencer, but I feel like I'm influential in some type of way based on whatever you look at me to do. But it's look at people, imagine these big influencers. Imagine they had no social media. They're nobody.
Yeah, they.
You know what I'm saying?
Can do at that point.
It's crazy, but it's also beautiful to see what social media can do for people. Streaming right now, I don't know if you watch streamers, but you got people like Kai Cenat who completely can just sit in front of a computer and entertain people and make such a living off of it, and also be able to bless people for the rest of their lives. It's insane what influentially comes from social media.
Oh yeah, I kind of like this topic because I've always felt especially being in the industry that I'm in is a butcher type thing. I work with a lot of people that are older, and you could tell that they look down on this younger generation. But the thing that I love is pretty much what you're saying is I feel like we found a way to beat the system that was in place of waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning and going to this job. And the other day at work, I needed, it was actually today. I needed today off, and I had to fill out a request form for the day off, and it bothered me. So for people to make a living doing something kind of simple, and they're doing great, and they're making more money than most people, I just love it. I think that it's we beat the system. There was something that was put into place that doesn't make sense to me, and people found a way around it, and I love that.
Well, it's you can look at it too, free money. Like there's so many opportunities out there to make money that are free. And it's either you commit to it and grind for it. Because, like, I mean, I'll still base it on streamers. Because, like, it's funny because, a lot of people watch people play video games now. And the people that are playing video games for people to watch, they're making quite a bit of money. And it's also funny because, like, you remember when we were younger, like, you go to your friend's house, they're playing a 2-player game and there's 4 of you. And you're just, you're like, I want to play.
Yeah.
but now you'll sit in bed and watch somebody play a video game for hours and not feel like, man, I want to play. Because, you would never sit at your friend's house and watch them play a video game.
Yeah.
So that's just different. And they're making so much money and it's so frowned upon too because, like when I was younger, people, and it was before like, streaming was a thing. I'm sure it was very, very minimal. But, like, people are like, oh, I'm going to make a living playing video games. And you're like, okay. Mm-hmm. And now you're looking at like, damn.
They made more than a living.
Yeah. And it's just, imagine just waking up playing a video game. Like, but it's also a thing because you have so many people who are like, dude, it's just a game. Well, it's like, well, this game is my life and paying for my Porsche. Like,
I mean, but that's like anything. You could say that about like an NFL athlete. Mm-hmm. Oh, football is just a game. It's like, to me, I mean, it's my job.
Yeah.
So I get that. I was going to say something off of that. I forgot what it was, though. Oh. You're talking about gaming. For me, it's cooking.
Yeah.
Like I could sit, like I'll spend way too long of amount of time watching people cook. I don't know why.
Do you watch all my videos with Darian? Is that what it is?
I watch them too. No, because I hate when you do that. I definitely have. No, I watch your stuff, but like, one person that I actually watch a lot is Volkanovski. Alex Volkanovski.
Yeah, he's a cooker?
Yeah.
Okay.
He'll whip some stuff up, dude.
Okay.
So, like, I'll get into his
Well,
stuff.
He's on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he has, like, a little vlog. And I love vlogs. I watch a lot of Disney vlogs, too. I get jealous.
Yeah?
I mean, I wish I was in Disney. I
thought you meant, like Disney people, like, vlogging. But I get people
Disney
going
World.
to Disney World.
Yeah.
Okay.
I get jealous, so I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna watch this to make myself feel better.
When's the last time you went to Disney World?
Oh. Physically, a long time ago, but, mentally.
You want to go?
I absolutely do. Yeah, 100%.
If the Bills win the Super Bowl, I'll take you to Disney World.
That's crazy.
Swear to God.
Come on, Bills. Josh, do something here, buddy.
He's doing exactly what he needs to at this point.
Speaking of Josh, I want to shout out my shirt here first. And it's like a clothing place. It's a Josh,
what is it?
It's a Josh Allen t-shirt.
What is
it's
it
on
from?
Abbott. First in. It's their Buffalo Firefighters.
Where is it located?
It's on Abbott.
Give him a little shout out.
I don't know the address, but it's on Abbott.
Where about on Abbott?
It's next to Hellgate's Tattoo, right by Docks, very close to Docks.
Is it next to like in the same thing?
Yeah, they're connected.
Okay.
Yeah, but they make a lot of dope stuff. Obviously, like we've talked about my dream of being a Buffalo firefighter, which isn't going phenomenally great right now, but it's also not going bad. So they have a lot of cool stuff there, so I figured I'd give them a shout out. But this shirt specifically is pretty dope because it's like the fire logo.
Is there something on the back?
Yeah, it says MVP, like fire department.
Like the same as that, just bigger.
Pretty much.
Okay, that's dope.
That's pretty sweet. But Josh, you gotta do something here, my guy.
Yeah, he's gotta go to Disney World.
Brother?
But let's talk about my shirt, okay?
Oh, forget about it.
Shout out Mark at Picasso's, who also sponsors my podcast. Phenomenal human being, and I love Picasso's pizza, and I don't honestly can say I feel like everybody does. But shout out to Picasso's, but specifically Mark. He's over at Santora's as well, the OG Santora's.
Yeah, Santora's slaps too.
But they've reached out to me to be a part of this, and that is very meaningful for me because I'm so like hard headed and love to just kind of just do my own thing, and like for them reaching out to be a part of this is special to me, especially because it's organic. It's not like I would never try to like partner with something that I couldn't stand behind.
Something you don't believe
in. Exactly, and I put you on the Picasso's, and it's like, man. It's one thing to be like a part of it, but like also like the things that have happened with Picasso's, right? So like we just shot our first commercial, and I got to be a part of it, and I didn't even know we had a billboard.
Yeah,
I actually have my first photo on a billboard. Mm-hmm. I have a photo in the back of a magazine, and my photo is in the newspaper.
It's crazy,
and it's just like. It's just so dope to like be connected with something that I'm actually passionate about.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like Picasso they have a special place in my heart because I remember like 2018, like me and you would go to like the Bills games and go to Picasso's afterwards. That was always pretty sick. But here's the thing: like their pizza's phenomenal, but their chicken finger subs slap, and they make their own hot sauce, and it is phenomenal, so good. So I want to plug him in on that. There he is. There he is.
That's the
boy.
picture I did for Shakir. That is was in the back of the paper.
Oh.
And then Buffalo Spree magazine. Yours truly. And I love this. They're gonna get framed up in the studio. That means the world to me.
Yeah. What a crazy blessing.
And I'm just so glad to be a part of it.
Yeah.
Shout out Picasso. Shout out Picasso's. Shout out Mark, more importantly, because Mark is the one that made all the connections. Great person. Probably one of my top 2 favorite human beings, and he's not 2. But yeah, I mean, shout out to our merch people. Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, other than that, I mean, it's crazy because I wanted to do so many podcasts of like what do we call this? Like a kumbaya.
Sure.
But it's like there's so much built up into like, a year. So it's like, I mean, we could talk about so many things. Like, as soon as I did the last podcast, I knew I wanted to get my health together. So I decided to create a program from January 31st. And I went till, just 100% strictly. I went till April 19th.
I felt like it was right before the Luke Combs concert.
It was the Luke Combs concert. Yeah. So it was 19th and 20th, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So it was 77 days. I lost 65 pounds, and I started cold plunging then. And I haven't stopped cold plunging. So today I actually did the polar plunge for day 311, consecutively straight cold plunging. And I even went to the Bills game in Seattle, and I shipped a cold plunge to Seattle to keep it going.
That's crazy.
So, like, that was one thing that I did for myself, and it also kind of, like, segued itself to, like, me doing personal training again, which I've done probably since I was 19, and I'm 30 now.
That's kind of how we reconnected. Well, it is how we reconnected.
Yeah, I mean, I still train people now. I had, my first program ran with one of my clients. His name was Tom. He lost 78 pounds in 5 months. Stuck to it and just did every single thing he was supposed to. 4:30 in the morning every single day. And that was like, it was good to have somebody like that who actually wanted to change, because there's so many people that I've trained in the past who just weren't about it. And just like, it kind of drained me, because it's like, I know I'm offering the right information and, strategies and nutrition to kind of like be better, but people just chose not to. And it was just like, it's not about the money for me. That's like, I want to help people change, I want to change people's lives, and I want to be a part of that.
It's a huge change.
And for people to not do that for themselves ruins it for me, because it's like, you're taking my passion out of it. If you're not willing to do what you need to do to change, I don't want to be a part of it, because I don't want to waste my time, but also it's like, you're taking away from somebody else who could actually want to change. Yep. It's like I said, it's not about a check. It's never about a check. It's like, I want somebody to be like, man, that guy impacted my life. And I want to continue, because it's also like a mentorship too. It's not like, people, every time somebody wants to change their life, it's for a reason. And I want to be like the backbone to whatever it is that people want, from that on the outside. Yeah, losing weight's one thing, but like, there's also mental battles that people have to climb as well. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, kind of what I wanted to talk about for your program was the water fast we did.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
Yeah, so like Shane did the water fast with me. We started January 31st. It was a 3-day water fast. So the way the water fast was, we did the Gary Brecka program, and that was 3 liters a day. And then the second day was 2 liters, and then 32 ounces of bone broth.
Yeah. Didn't you get to pick whether it was the second or third day? Did you get to pick
it was two different. There was 2 different ones, really. You didn't even have to do the bone broth. It was more for like an appetite suppressant. And then the third day is the same thing, doing 3 liters. And I feel like the hardest day was the first day.
For sure.
Because then you wake up the second day and you feel full somehow.
Yeah.
And then, like, it's just, you realize, I think the one thing that taught me was how mental food is, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Because like day 3, I'm like, I can do this forever. Because it was just so like you realize like especially at night you're like, man, let me go get like a bag of chips or some shit, and you're like, no. And then you wake up the next day, you're like, I feel like I had a healthy bag of chips,
Yeah.
and I lost 11 pounds just from that.
Yeah. I don't remember how much I lost, but I think it was around there. Yeah. That was crazy though. That bone broth was disgusting. I hated it.
Yeah,
I wish
it
I
was
didn't
weird
do it.
because I couldn't taste anything at the time, and it tasted like burnt popcorn to me.
To me, it was like like I kind of felt like it was like a burnt coffee or something. Like it tasted really weird.
Yeah, I think the thing that did for me, and it's funny, so I had Bart's do it, and Bart's did it, and like without me explaining what it did for me, he literally had the same like terminology about it. He's like, you know, like I felt like very quick and like mentally clear and light, and like I guess the word I'm thinking is witty.
Yeah.
Like I felt like if you asked me a question, I'm on top of it. Like my brain was like ready to function at its peak, and like that's the thing I took from it, where I just felt so productive because like once you start eating like shit, you feel like shit, and you're just
Absolutely.
sluggish. You just want to chill and not do things that are productive, you
Yeah.
know. And I feel like the water fast was like the best like boost to like getting shit together.
Yeah, it was great. I felt phenomenal after it. Yeah, it was really good. And it was funny because I remember, what did we do? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday? No, it had been. We finished
Well,
on
I
a
can tell
Thursday.
you because it was January 31st.
We definitely finished on a Thursday because I remember being at rehearsal for church. But I remember work at the time got pizza and wings, and I just had to continue to drink my water.
Yeah, so January 31st was a Wednesday. So we finished that Friday, and I remember we were talking about Friday because I started working out on Saturday, and I was like, well, I'll finish my fast on Friday night and have my first meal, so I can work out Saturday.
Yeah.
And I think you went till Saturday morning though.
Maybe.
Yeah, I remember that because we were trying to do the same thing, but I
We
just
started
didn't.
the same day, didn't we?
Yeah, I
I
just
remember we went to Denny's.
yeah, that was our last hurrah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so shout out to Denny's. You know,
They're
you know they have
there when
the
you
fried
need ya.
cheese melts back on the menu.
I saw it, but I
It's
thought.
called something else though.
Yeah, but I think that was a Beetlejuice.
I don't know.
Limited time thing. That's why.
Hey,
Because I seen a pic, like I seen it. I was gonna send a picture to you, but
hey, but if we went there, we can get it.
we're getting it either way. Yeah.
Yo,
But you know the charge is kind of crazy.
well, it's better now.
They fixed it.
Yeah.
Well, now that's on the menu.
Well, it's
Right.
not $4 like it was back in the OG days, but
Dang, I remember. I remember when was it after your birthday? We were all at. And we were all just sitting there. You were like.
I just ordered it
"Fried
for everybody.
cheese melts for
I felt like
That's so
Oprah.
funny.
I was like Oprah Winfrey at Denny's. You get a cheese melt.
Fried
You
cheese
get a
melts.
cheese melt.
That was so funny.
See if I can do this. I would have did that.
Oh man, what a time that was.
I mean, dude, it's been like such a great year in a sense. I mean, I'm sure there's some shitty stuff, but like the
Yeah,
good outweighs
for
the
sure.
bad. Like, I mean, I haven't really done a podcast about it, but I've, you know, as you can see, the relationship that I've built for people on the podcast, being able to work for the Bandits, my first ever professional job,
What a team that is.
and we won the championship, which is the most incredible thing that I've ever been a part of.
Yeah.
Even though the day of the championship and way that that unfolded for myself and my personal experience based off of what I thought it would have been kind of sucked. But if you if you want to know that story, you can watch the Ian McKay 2 podcast and see how that worked out. But you know, they just beat Rochester.
Yeah, I saw
The
that.
season opener just started today. Back at home on Saturday or Friday, I'm not really too sure. But like that's like you got to come around, we got to drink beers out the trophy, like
That was one of those moments where like you had to be where your feet were.
oh my
Like,
God,
how
it
am I
was just-
doing this? How am I here? And you know, I posted it on social media, and people are like legit, kind of like jealous.
yeah.
And it was crazy because I remember seeing that they like posted that they were having like the trophy with two players. I don't remember who the two players were, but they were there. And, like you could pay to go meet them. It's like, dude, like people are paying to go meet these people, and I was drinking blue light.
Nah, but like that was such a super dope thing to be a part of, and I feel like I needed that under my belt, but also I feel like I needed that mentally, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like, you know, the thing is that with me is I love to come into a new space and just kick the fucking door down and just like take over that space. I mean that sounds like very aggressive to say, but like the way I look at it, right, is like I'm so new to the space, right? And then I'm like I like get a high off it. Like, what can I do to climb to like have these relationships and like do this, like do like personal content for this, and like I'm that's exactly where I'm at right now. Like I'm at the top of the top to do what I set out to do. Same thing with the Bills. It's like, okay, it's like you start working with one player and then like, oh well, what can I do for them to grow, but also what can I do for me to grow?
Yeah,
So it's literally like this, and I'm like so high right now. Like,
yeah, absolutely. And it was fun watching like the way that Croom Photos took off. Like you started with like it was like a practice squad guy, and then just like moved up, and that was really cool to watch that unfold.
well, the thing is too with Ian, we shot a documentary,
Yeah.
which was something I've always wanted to do, and it's funny. So the way that it looks is not how it was. So I don't know if I want to even say it, but like it was it was when I went to Florida. So we actually filmed that in 3 weeks, and we made it look like the week of. So most of it was the week of, but like I think the game that we filmed may have been a Saturday, but the way the game was a Friday. So like when we were doing stuff on like a Wednesday, we were talking as if it was like a Tuesday.
Okay.
So like a lot of it, like it's
A little bit of acting.
It,
a little bit of acting involved.
I wouldn't say. I was just like, hey, it's Tuesday when it's really Wednesday.
Okay.
But like we had to do that to make it work, but it worked out perfect. It was probably one of my favorite things I've ever been able to do.
He's a super cool dude.
Yeah.
Super cool dude.
He actually scored today too.
Did he?
Yep.
Shout out. Oh, that boy.
Yeah, no, but that was something that was very exciting for me to be a part of for sure.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. He's a cool dude. And it was kind of cool. I was going to say too that like not only did you shoot for the Bandits, but you got to be his personal photographer.
Well, Ian's definitely the reason that all happened. But, more or less, like, being able to just have access to pretty much, like, have an open canvas, right?
Yeah.
Because there was no, like, this is not like, oh, this is what you got to do today. It's like, in my head, I'm like, okay, you give me a paintbrush, and I have the whole entire space to do what I want. So I'm like, okay, well, today I'm going to do this. Today I'm going to do this. And it's like, the way I look at it is like sports is different. Sports will never be the same. You're never going to take the same picture, right?
Right.
I mean, in a sense. But it's like, I look at it too as like challenging yourself. It's like, okay, you're in the same spot to take a photo, right? And you have like 12 games or however many there ended up being. And it's like, how can you make it different or better each time? So it's like challenging yourself. It's like, okay, you can point your camera and just hit the button as many times as you want, but it's like, how can you make it different? So like there was days where like I'm gonna do a video like this, or like like even like the day with Ian where we did game day, which obviously was completely different because the access was different, but like being able to just show more sides of like what goes into a game, or like being able to show somebody something that's not necessarily posted by the Bandits that you see every day, you know. And that was where my value of it came.
Yeah, like the behind the scenes of what they got going on.
Exactly.
Yeah, so is there like any talks about you doing that again?
Yep.
Going on board with them?
Yeah, I mean, I have to just kind of fire off an email this week, but as far as like talking to the PR already, I'm locked in.
Cool. Even with Ian, you gonna like work with him again?
Yeah, so I'm definitely working with Ian, but I actually am working with Josh Byrne right now too.
Oh man.
And Dane Smith.
Oh man.
I mean, I'm pretty much working with everybody in a sense. But, like, I'm actually working on, like, a side project for Dane Smith right now, as well as a side project for Josh.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, the Bandits are such a good team. We own lacrosse in Buffalo.
But that's also what I'm saying, like, climbing the ladder, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, how can I keep putting myself inside of rooms that can, expand what I have going on and potentially expand, what they have going on, even though that's a tough task to reach for, but still, like, you have to look at it that way. But like, I love it, and it's like now I'm like, well, what's next?
Yeah, like, what do you think is next? Like, is there something specific that you want to do?
It's a great question. I mean, I love the documentary, right? And it's funny. So like every time I need to kill time, I'll watch it because it's on YouTube.
That documentary?
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely seen that one.
And I'm a nitpicker too, so like I'll watch it and be like, man, I wish I would have did this differently, or I wish I would have did that differently. And like now I'd love to it's just more access, right? So like if you watch a documentary, I mean, I didn't really care to go in the locker room because like even like the car ride with Ian to the game, I didn't want to do it because like you have to understand like when it comes to routine, you don't want to break it. Let
You want
alone
them focused.
exactly.
Yeah.
Let alone it's like a very important game. Even though I feel like every game is as important, right? But the way the Bandits had to play is the Bandits were almost not going to make the playoffs last year,
Hmm.
and they ended up grinding it out and winning. But it was like like the car ride, and it's like I felt bad even trying to ask him questions because like my whole thing is like, how can I give as much information to the viewer, right? Like what is your game plan? Like what goes through your head in your car ride? And it's like, he's breaking down the music he's got to listen to and things like that. So it's like,
Does he listen to Creed?
no, so he listens to a lot of like techno-ish EDM and then he'll switch it to like rap. But it's like it's always the same thing, like especially the way to the stadium he'll go or the arena, it's always the same exact way, same exact streets and everything. And I didn't want to fault anything. So like the whole time in the car, I didn't even want to talk,
Mm-hmm.
let alone like we were leaving. And as soon as we were leaving, he realized he forgot something, which like I felt like completely threw it off. But it ended up, it was a great game. They ended up winning. But the thing is, Ian always swears like, it was the most content that I've had, and he didn't do anything in the game, like no assists, no
Oh,
goals or
that's
anything.
crazy.
But it was still like a beautiful thing, and like we'll actually probably start posting a lot of it just like individually, for just like days like through like the season.
Yeah.
But for more access, I think like it'd be cooler because as soon as like we walked in, like I wish I could have got ahead of him, but like I was walking into a space that I needed my credential to be,
Right.
which everybody who was there knew what I was doing, but like the security for the arena wouldn't know because it's not their space. They're literally
They
checking
work
in.
for the arena, not the team.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so like as I'm walking in, it was like I'd love to follow him to the locker room, but Ian's in front of me, and I wasn't gonna tell Ian to wait because like I don't want to ruin the flow, right? So like I had to put my camera through the conveyor belt and stuff, and like all Ian's doing is putting his keys in and he's going. So like I couldn't even really like follow him, and like yeah, it's just a shot, but still like I feel like a very important shot because
Right.
that's when like the channel gets changed. It's like when you lock in, it's
You're
no.
there now.
So it's like I wanted to do that, and it would have been cool to like maybe get like you know them getting ready in the locker room as far as just like mentally, right? And then like going out, I have access to kind of be in the arena in the field, but I can't go on the field, which is still fine. I still did what I needed to do, but it'd be cool to get more of those intimate shots, right?
Does anybody go on the field?
Yeah,
Oh, really?
yeah.
I didn't know that.
So like the Bandits have access to it, like they're photographers and they're people,
Oh.
and like that's the goal I'm trying to get this year to have a little bit more access. But it's like it'd have been cool to kind of just be like side by side and more intimate or in depth with my content instead of like shooting
Mm-hmm.
from a fixed position. But it still worked out. But it's also like something a viewer would never like think about. But like me knowing
Right.
the things I could have done is where I'm like, man, I can't wait to like maybe do it again.
And that's the beauty in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because even on the opposite side, they see something that you did do, they don't maybe understand what went into that.
Yeah.
So that's the beauty of what you get to do.
It'd be cool to like do like a behind the scenes of like a behind the scenes.
Okay, so someone's shooting you.
Yeah. Well, that's one thing that I'd love to do, but especially for content for myself, because all that's going to do is help me grow. But it's just such a thing, right? Like I don't ever want to do like a photo shoot or a video shoot, right? And I'm very very locked in on all things I do, right? That's my job. I'm very passionate about my craft, but like I'd hate to do like a video shoot or a photo shoot, right? That maybe doesn't go as well as anticipated, which will never happen. Knock on wood, because I like to stay on my shit. But like I'd hate to do something that maybe for somebody I don't necessarily know, right? And they're like maybe they're not happy with it, right? But I have this video of myself doing it, right? And
Yeah.
it's like I don't want to like to make it feel like I'm taking away from what I'm doing
Yeah.
for myself, because that's not fair. So I really don't do that. Like even like a time lapse of a photo shoot, like I'm just so locked into like being 100% on top of my stuff that I'd hate to even go 99 and 1% for my shit, because it's not how I just don't feel comfortable doing work that way. And I'm sure a lot of people wouldn't care, but like it's just I don't want to feel like I'm more worried about what I'm doing more than what I'm doing.
Right.
That's not right.
I get that because like if you're at a photo shoot, instead of instructing like the people that you're shooting what to do, you're instructing the person with the camera filming you.
Well, I mean that all serves its purpose, right? Because there's things I can do. I can easily do like a photo shoot for free for a model, and be like, hey, just we're doing like a
True.
tutorial on like how to shoot, but I don't want to do that. I want it to be real.
Yeah.
Like, but also like I'd hate to take away, like I said, take away from a photo shoot to explain what I'm doing or why.
I see.
I'm like I can also do like a voiceover if I really wanted to, but I don't know. I like to get in more of like content for myself.
Yeah.
But it's just like I feel like this is like the only space for that right now.
Yeah.
Because it's either that or like I'd love to even do vlogs, but it's like I'd want somebody else to film me.
Right.
And I don't find the value in paying somebody to do that.
Right.
I just don't.
See what you're saying? Yeah.
Like I'm sure it'll be a great, additive to have, but I'm not paying for it.
Yeah.
That's just I don't find the value in that.
So you got to find someone that wants to do it for you.
Yeah, but no one wants to do anything for free.
Manny.
Well, no, Manny would do it for sure, but it's I'd like to have everything on my terms, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is selfish as it sounds, but it doesn't matter.
That makes sense though.
Well, I have a standard. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying Manny's not my standard, but also like if I'm doing something, I'm like, oh, well, 90% of everything I do is super last minute, right? So I can't expect to put somebody in my position to just be able to like drop stuff and just do it. So like I don't pay no mind as long as I'm.
I got a cough.
Well, that's got to stay in because I was in another conversation. But I appreciate
We'll keep it on.
the pausing, but I don't know. I'll probably end up doing that at some point, but I don't see me like putting any type of energy into it right now.
Yeah, maybe down the line.
Yeah, I mean, time will tell, but.
And then that would also have to be like, well, depending on what you're doing. Like if you want to do that at a Bandits game, you have to get them credentials.
For sure. I mean, I did my own little vlog for the Bandits thing, and that's probably all it'll be because I literally explained it in that because I'm like, I don't want to take away from the moment, right? Like, let's say like they reached out to me for capturing something, and maybe I didn't get it, but I got captured to myself.
Yeah.
Like that's not fair.
So this year, what do you think was like the best event that you did?
The best event?
There was some good stuff that happened this year.
I mean, I love the personal stuff because I feel like it lives forever.
Sure.
It's interesting. I mean, I feel like I've done so many things that I can't really like pinpoint one, but like, it literally a couple days ago I did a gender reveal for Terrell Shavers, who's the Bills wide receiver, and that was special because those are moments that are gonna live forever.
Yeah, it's pretty cool that they would call you for something like that, even if it's just anybody.
Yeah, and it's and another thing too is actually I had somebody propose in the studio like 5 days ago.
Really?
Yeah. So it was a maternity shoot, and literally just went into it as a maternity shoot, and had no idea.
You didn't know?
No, and so the girl booked it, and then. There was a girl who was coming here who tore her Achilles, so she couldn't use the stairs, so I had to, use the elevator. So he's like, hey, can you show me the elevator? And I'm like, sure. So we walk out, getting ready to the elevator. He's like, yo, I don't know if anybody told you, but I'm going to propose. I'm like, oh, shit. So I'm like.
Changes everything.
Well, no, it doesn't change everything, but, like, I want to make sure everybody's on the same page, especially, I'm not going to be like, hey, you can do it now. Like, so we had to, like, kind of, like, go through a little game plan in the, like, 3 minutes we had in the hallway.
I'm kind of interested in, like, who was there. It's a gender reveal. I thought maybe it would just be – was it a party?
It wasn't a gender reveal. This is just a maternity photo shoot that turned into I guess I should explain that. It turned into a proposal as well. So we had, like, this whole game plan. He was super nervous. So I was like, bro, there's tequila in the fridge. Go take a swig. So – and it was just a white backdrop. So I had, like, 8 feet, perspective to shoot from. I'm just, hey, just stay inside as much as you can. And I'm like, do you know what side is her favorite side? And he's like, oh, the side where her piercing on. She has a nose ring. So I'm like, okay, so I'm going to have you stand on this side. And then when you do it, before you do it, I'm gonna just like bullshit and be like, hey, can you look this way? Because I wanted to do some pictures where he was on a knee and she wasn't even paying attention. So, like, I had, her friend come and, like, fix her hair. Like, oh, I'm like, hey, can you fix her hair? And she's facing this way, and he's over there facing this way as well behind her.
Did the friend know?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was like, yo, let's do some funny pictures. So when she's fixing her hair, just like hold the ring and like smile, like ha ha. And then he got down on a knee and she stepped out and turned around. It was beautiful.
That's so awesome.
That was something that was cool for me because it's never happened in here. And it's like I've done proposals 100 times, but like
you knew about them too, right? Usually.
Yeah, but I mean, it was just cool to like that like somebody did it in here. Like that's cool as fuck.
It's a special place now.
Yeah, for sure. And trying to think of other things, right? I don't know. Is there like something that you're thinking of?
Yeah.
What is?
I was thinking Flannel Fest.
Okay, so Flannel Fest was dope. It was one of those things that like started as me just being the photographer, but like knowing I can, add so much, value and perspective to the space. So Steve, shout out Steve, partner in crime with Flannel Fest, the creator of Flannel Fest. If you've been following me, you've seen me on the news with Steve and, throwing this beautiful event that he created, and it was just like, what can we do to like, make this great, know? And, I got John Wayne Hatfield on board, which is, phenomenal human being. And then, Andrew Janakis, which was another incredible guy. And just, it was a great event, 500 Pearl country concert. Obviously, flannels were there.
Yep. And by the way, mine was a flannel.
Yeah?
I looked it up.
Okay.
Yeah.
But no, that was super special. It's crazy because the video has never been posted, which is weird. But
Is that on Steve?
It ain't on me.
Steven.
And it's just like, I feel like the longer it doesn't get posted, the more it's like, it looks like I don't got my shit together.
True.
Because that was like 2 months ago.
So I sent it. It's out of my hands.
But, no, so Flannel Fest, we're doing another Flannel Fest next year at the Cove. Artist to be announced.
I'm interested to see how it does at the Cove. I mean, I know that'll be good, but like, I felt like 500 Pro was pretty dope.
See, the thing is with the Cove, everything's set in stone. There's no created bar. We need bartenders. We need security. Like, the Cove already is that. You know what I'm saying? And there's already a stage with lighting already. It's just
fair enough.
So much smarter.
Fair enough. Yeah.
And then like the VIP will make so much more sense having that upper balcony that already exists, and just it'll flow so much better in the way that the green room is now, or was up there. And then a whole new space that they renovated when we had the artist walkthrough.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just, I think, more ideal.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
And we're going to lower the prices too.
Nice.
Be a lot more fan friendly.
Family friendly?
Fan friendly.
Oh,
that's a lot of
that was a lot there.
Fan friendly.
Okay.
That's the event you were thinking?
I was thinking Flannel Fest, yeah. I wanted to talk about that because it was a dope event. I don't know if you've discussed it on a podcast or not yet. But I thought it deserved a shout out, and especially reflecting on the year, because I feel like that's what we're doing, is reflecting on how the year went. I thought it was a big event that we were a part of.
Yeah, no, it was very invested in it, and I loved it. I love like the hustle and bustle of like trying to get things in motion and like connecting people,
Yeah. The lineup was great, man.
Yeah.
That was a really dope lineup.
Yeah.
So shout out to Steve for that one too. I became fans of a couple people.
Yeah, flannel man.
Yeah. When you eat $150 worth of DoorDash for the guy, you're bonding.
You get to really know him.
Yeah. Oh, there's something else I was gonna say too. Another thing that kind of like being friends with you is like changed for me is you were talking about the VIP access.
Yeah.
Like I feel like whatever I do now, it's gotta be VIP.
Like that. How now this ain't gonna work?
Oh, dude, like I feel like everything we do it's VIP, and I couldn't even imagine just not doing that.
It's like, oh, you want me to go with everybody else? I don't know, man. Sorry.
Yeah. So.
Well, it comes with a standard, and that's good to value because being complacent is not how you want to be.
Yeah, and then another because like when we went to Miami, which was like probably one of the highlights of my year. I had a great time in Miami, especially at that pool. For some reason.
Which is the weirdest thing because it was such a dull day for me. But hey, as long as Shane's happy.
It's crazy because I don't even want to go.
I know. That's why I'm like, how is this the best time ever?
That's just like the perfect vibe for me. Like it doesn't get better than that.
Yeah.
Like it was a beautiful day, sitting at a pool, just having surf sides illegally. You were sneaking them in.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was, I don't know. But I was gonna say, like, being VIP for all that stuff, and then going to that tailgate and being VIP and meeting Josh Allen's dad.
Yeah.
Like, talking about being where your feet are, man.
Yeah.
That was crazy. The way he did it was kind of funny. He's like, I'm Joel
Yeah.
Allen. I'm like, oh.
He lit the candle on
Yeah,
it.
it's my boy.
Yeah. Shout out to Joel.
That was incredible.
Shout out to Bills Backers Miami too. You know, they threw
What an event.
They threw a phenomenal, 2-day event. As always, Jonathan Holler out there always holding it down for the Bills Mafia out in Florida. Per usual. That was actually my first time to him. Well, second time to a Miami game, but doing like the whole like fan thing.
Yeah, usually you would have been like with Poyer or something.
Yeah, that's what we did the one time that I went. The second time this is the second time I went and just pretty much, did our own thing. Got to hang out with John Miller. John Miller came through.
Yo, dude, this is my boy. What a time.
Had a great time.
Yeah, Miami was awesome.
Yeah, and then another thing too, like I could go to Mexico and get stuck in a hurricane.
Yeah.
That was fun. That was
Hit you
different.
like a hurricane.
That was different. My favorite part about that was like helping out after.
Yeah.
Like, it was weird because like it's so normalized for us, like just being from Buffalo and the people that we are, and like how they looked at it. They're like, oh, "Thank you guys so much for like helping out. This is crazy. Like, oh, what is your room number? We'll send you guys some stuff." Like, it's like this is just what we do. There's nothing new to this. Like,
there's like nothing you can even like. We're not doing this for anything because everything's already free.
Yeah.
It's all inclusive, so it's not like we're doing this for free food or anything. No, it's already there.
Yeah. It was just like, you're watching like 6 people try to clear 400 chairs out of a pool. It's like, I can easily get in there and at least do half.
Yeah, and even like for people, I mean, I can understand people who are like, we spent a lot of money to be here. It's their job, but like, help get it done quicker.
Yeah.
So you can go back to your vibes. 2024 was dope. It had its moments that were tough, obviously, like any year, but looking forward to the new year and doing some cool stuff as well.
Yeah, I feel like, especially after last year, just kind of having the same goals this year, but just knowing what needs to be done to just be a little bit better and more, I don't want to say successful, but like more fluently, right?
Yeah.
Like, because like the beginning of the year was like kind of a rough start because it's like, I was so locked in on trying to do like my health stuff where it like took away from other things. So it's like, even the podcast stuff, like I'd love to just do more podcasts, even just traveling, right? But like, it's just so annoying because it's just so expensive to like travel with all this.
Yeah.
But like, I'm like really focused on doing it because what I want to do now is take advantage of the relationships that I've been able to create and just podcast after podcast. And it'll just help me too because it'll kind of allow me to try to have different perspectives on what to ask certain people, and things like that. It'll just help me be better at being a podcast host too. So I'd love to do more podcasts, and I'm going to try to do a really big one before the year's over. Which,
next year, this year, right now?
Yeah, this year. I have two potential guests.
Okay.
One is not going to be as big as one, but I'll say I'm doing a podcast before. I'm going to do 2. I'll say it now. It is December 8th. I'm going to do 2 podcasts before the season's over.
I hope so.
It'll happen.
It's going to be awesome. Is it John Cena?
I mean, if it was, it'd be like you not sitting in the chair.
It'd be completely empty.
Hey, John.
I think for me, it's going to sound kind of maybe cliche, but I definitely I want to draw closer to God. I feel like this past year there was moments where like, I think people know me as a man of faith, but I think there were definitely some times this year where I was not walking in the Spirit and all over the place. And, I think it's tough. Things don't go your way. And you kind of, I've learned that I'm like rebellious, I think. So when things don't go my way, I get mad and kind of just go off the wall. So in 2025, the biggest thing that I want to do is I just want to draw closer to God, walk in the Spirit. I just want to be like way more disciplined. I know I can do it, man. Like, I know
discipline in what?
Every aspect of my life. Like just like I don't want to spend a lot of time going out anymore and spending that money. Like doing that, like getting my health and my fitness back to where I know it could be. Um, and just not worrying about other people and worried about like women and stuff like that. Like I just don't want to be that guy no more.
What do you think held you back from not doing that?
Well, I think kind of like I was just saying, like things not going my way. I tend to like go off the walls, but I mean, there's a lot of different things. I think I just get caught up, and sometimes I go into like
Do you feel like it's like a change the channel thing?
what do you mean?
Do you feel like you look at it as a reason to not do something instead of a reason to change? Like, do you feel like it's just like a cop out for you mentally?
For sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, it's like
Like, oh well, if this isn't gonna work, then fuck it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That could be it sometimes, and I want to. I know who God wants me to be. Sorry, I know who I'm supposed to be. I want to be that guy this year. That's like my biggest thing.
Yeah. One thing that like in the sense of like changing channel that somebody taught me, Jeremy Kelly taught me, but it's more in like a football
Is
aspect.
he the one that said be where your feet are? Is he the same guy?
Yes.
Yeah.
But he was talking about changing the channel, but more from like an athlete standpoint. But you can understand it, right? It's just like, balls in the air, right? You're running a route, your hands are open, you're like, in your head, you're like, damn, well, what if I drop it, right?
Mm.
You're already setting yourself up for failure mentally, right? To be okay with failing. But instead of that, it's like, well, what if I catch it?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, glass half full, glass half empty, just changing the channel mentally to change your perspective is going to change everything.
Yeah, I get that, but I think I'm kind of like the opposite. Like this is gonna happen, and then it doesn't. That's where I kind of
But you should
fall.
also just try to not take no for an answer.
Sometimes it's just out of your hands.
It's all about you. It's all about manifesting, though, right? You can have anything you want in life. You just gotta go get it.
Yeah, I mean, in
As
one way or
cliche
another. One way or
as
another.
cliche as
Yeah.
that sounds, right? I mean, the only thing that changes that is time.
Yeah.
If something doesn't work out, it's just because you didn't give it enough time.
Yeah.
You can't expect everything to just be in the snap of a finger, as nice as it would be.
Yeah.
Especially now, because life is just so fast at this point.
Oh yeah.
It's just like
Being 30, man.
you're waiting for one thing, and next thing you know, you're 30. You're like,
Yeah.
damn.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I was even like thinking about things the other day, and I don't really believe this to be true, but there were some things I was thinking about, like what I want to do in my life. It's like, man, I'm 30 now. One of them is actually fight,
Yeah.
like in the octagon. But it's like, I don't just being 30. Like I think starting that at
Yeah.
30 is like,
Not the play.
I don't know what I'm gonna do here, man. Like I would, and
You're
I just,
one leg kick. You're like, shit.
I don't know, I'm calling off work. But I think that like life, man, like fighting, obviously martial arts, something that's always been big to me. I've been kind of out of it lately, just for a bunch of different reasons, but obviously it's always been something big for me, and I've talked to my coaches about fighting, and people have encouraged me to fight, but like I just think that like what I'm worried about with that is life being so crazy that I don't think I could like I'm not afraid to get an octagon and fight. To me, it's like I don't think I could put together a good camp.
Yeah.
I think like
you
spending
can't focus on it because you got so many outside things.
yeah, I think spending like a good like 2-3 months or whatever it is training hard consistently for this fight, I don't think I could do that.
You'd also have to find the value in that to do like personally, because it's
That's true too.
it's not going to be a financial thing at
No.
30.
I don't think I'm going to the UFC. Maybe.
But it's one of those things. It's like you got to kind of Venn diagram it, pros, cons, and like what kind of makes sense regardless.
Absolutely.
But I feel like that's a lot of things. It's crazy, and as I was actually thinking about it too, like I just remember picking your high school, right, and like the trade that you wanted to go to high school for.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's like I wanted to go to performing arts because I was an artist and I could draw, and I didn't get into performing arts, and then I got into South Park, and because they had a screen printing program, and I'm like, okay, well, this is what I'm gonna do. I ain't never screen printed a damn thing in my life,
Yeah.
and it's just like if you see it now at colleges, people go for a major and this and that, and it's nothing that they end up doing in their life, and it's just
Right.
it's crazy. I feel like 30 is a beautiful time because I mean but you also see so many people who already have their shit together. Not saying I don't have my shit together, but it's like you got people who, maybe got their dream job super young and they're settled in and just like they're locked and loaded
Just
in
doing
life
it.
right now.
Yeah.
And then you got people who are still trying to figure it out, and it's like I love what I do, right? But
Right.
I won't say I figured it out because I feel like this is not what I'm gonna do. You know what I'm
Photography?
saying? Yeah. I mean, photography's fine and training's fine, but like I look at longevity, right? So like or consistency even, right? So like photography, Christmas, best time of the year for me. That's when I make my most money, right? Then you have like the January and February where it's like, and then same thing with training. Like, yeah, I can train X amount of people, right? But let's say like three of them, like, hey, I can't really afford it this month.
Yeah.
That's a couple $1,000s down the drain. It's like, okay, well, nothing's really consistent, right? It's cool, but I like it because I love to grind. I
Right.
love to like trying to figure it out. I love to kind of like, okay, well, what
I'm
can
there
I do to
too.
make money, right? But
Yeah.
also, it'd be great to just have a job where like you're getting paid, no matter what. Like,
Yeah.
all you gotta do is wake up. Like,
Yeah. For
you
sure,
know,
pros and cons to that, like you were
yeah. I mean,
saying.
but the thing is, like, my whole thing that I've lived my whole life, I've been self-employed forever, and it's like I can go to Florida tomorrow. I can go to
Yeah.
Mexico tomorrow.
Yeah.
I can do what I want
And
tomorrow.
that's huge. That's
And
a
and
huge
I
deal.
value that so much, but it's also like the one way that I tell myself to look at it and never look at it, right? Just think about like your group of friends, right? You don't have to say names, but think of like three of them, right? You're like, okay, let's go to Florida tomorrow.
Hmm.
You're getting three no's, right?
Yeah.
And it's like in your head, right? You're like, well, I can't go to Florida then. But it's like, okay, well, like if they're willing to not be able to go to Florida, why can't I?
Hmm.
And it's like, then I'd have that full time job to like.
I see what you're saying.
That's
Yeah.
just that's how I think.
Yeah.
And it's like even like the days like I can do whatever I want any day at any time of day. I can make my schedule however I want. But it's like oh, let's say I want to go get lunch with one of my friends and I can't because they're working.
Yeah.
It's like the things that I think of as like the time, right? Like that maybe I could be sitting at home like watching a movie at noon when it's like I could be working.
Right.
Everybody else is working. What is that taking away from me? And I always think that way, but I'm like, fuck it.
I actually seen something on Facebook. My brother posted it because he recently started his own business and he's doing great. And I'm proud of him for that. But he posted, it was like a thing on Facebook. Someone said, like, I realized I wanted to be an entrepreneur when I realized it didn't take an hour to make $20.
For
Like,
sure.
that is crazy, dude, when you
Well,
think about that.
it's funny. So like that's where I look at it, right? There's okay. So I'll say this, right? So like last week, I made $3,000, right? But this week, I made 400. So it's like them $3,000 weeks, right? But they're not always gonna be there. And there's
Right.
also weeks where I don't make any.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I don't have a photo shoot, like and even the training's just a one payment thing, right?
True. Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I'll get paid in the beginning of the month for training, but like I also have to train every day. I'm not getting paid every day. I'm not getting paid weekly, which I can make happen, but that's just like chump change if you look at it that way. But it's like, like when things are good, they're great.
Yeah.
Because like you look at a week like that, you're like, fuck yeah. And then you look at a week where you don't get paid, you're like, damn, I would like that's what I'm saying. Like the consistency. It's like, yeah, it'd be great to just get like that steady check every week, but it's like
But it'll never be great. That's the thing.
sure,
Like, you
but
could have a
it's like
great
taking
week,
the good with
but
the bad. That's what I was saying. Like glass is half full or half empty. You can look at it as like, oh well, my glass is half full on that good week, and
so
then you're
it's
like,
full.
you're
No.
like, and then you get a bad week. You're like, oh well, fucking McDonald's hiring. Like, but it's crazy. Like full time McDonald's will make more than me some weeks, easily.
Yeah.
Like minimum wage or full time minimum wage jobs, they'll make more money than me at times.
Yeah.
But I also make triple them sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's not as consistent. So where it's like I can't say like, I have a like if you put it all into perspective like monthly, I'd still be there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like like I said, there'd be months that are better than others. Like
Yeah.
this month would be great because of Christmas stuff. But like, then I'll have months like in January, like people spent all their money on Christmas. Like nobody really wants photo shoots in
True.
January. So
True.
it's like,
Yeah. But yeah, I mean it's like I was kind of gonna say like when you're an entrepreneur, like you got your own thing going on, you can make whatever money you want to make. But like if you work for somebody, it's up to them to have work for you to make money. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, hit or miss, I guess.
yeah, being self-employed is definitely like a gift and a curse. I wouldn't say a curse because it's whatever you make it. If
Yeah.
it's a curse, that means you're just not doing a good job at it.
Yeah.
Because like you hit it right on the head where it's like you can make as much money as you want. It's just how hard you want to work for it.
Right.
Like I don't promote much, and that's one thing I'm trying to do now is like even like all the video stuff that I do, right? Like for Darian or for Maddie and stuff like that. Like those are very good videos, and I don't post them. Like even I just did like a
You
super
give it to them and they post it?
yeah,
Yeah.
and like so like even like the thing is too like my Instagram, right? All Bill stuff,
It
right?
is.
If I
Yeah.
post anything that's not, nobody gives a shit, which is fine. But also, I realize, like, if I post something, I'll lose a couple followers, which is fine because if you're not here for me, that's fine.
That's kind of crazy.
But nobody cares about me. They care about the Bills, as far as that, right?
Mhm.
But it's like also the lack of me posting things that I'm capable of take away from me business wise. Because like, sure, I have a decent following for a photographer, but like, also I'm not showing anything. I'm not showing the things I can do. Like, yeah, I'll share the stuff that I do in my stories and stuff, but not the amount of people that follow me don't watch my stories. So I feel like I'm kind of holding myself back in ways, right? Because I'll get messages like, "Hey, do you do video?" And it's like, yeah, but it's also like, well, I guess they wouldn't know because I don't post it,
Yeah.
and I feel like a lot of my business comes from Facebook anyway. But like even there, like I don't post a lot of my stuff. Like, and I'm
Yeah.
like, so I actually have an Instagram for like stuff outside of like football that I haven't really done much with. And it's like, just trying to stay on top of like just firing on social media, just promote myself more. That's one thing I want to add to the 2025 resolution list.
Yeah.
But it's just like, I feel like I've held myself back for so long by not doing those things.
Yeah.
And I feel like that'd bring me in so much business, especially the stuff with Darian. Like the stuff that I've done with like for Darian, like quality wise, like obviously because he's a stand up guy and very very professional and
And just
just like
amazing at what he does.
exactly and like not capitalizing on that for like myself. Like sure like I'm tagged on his videos, but like I should post that too,
Hmm.
like to show what I can do. Like that's who he is.
Yeah.
Like that's his standard. Like you would expect every post from Darian to be like that,
Yeah.
and it is. But it's like I need to do that for myself because like I'm like yeah sure I did this great video, and it's like nobody knows.
And I also think it's viewer perspective too. Like if you see it on Darian's channel, you're more focused on what he's doing. But if you see it on your channel, you're more focused on like the videography side of things
Hmm.
too.
Yeah, but I mean that's one thing I need to do. Like that's completely on me.
I agree with you on that.
Is like sure if that's one thing that I value too, right? Is I see people that I don't know, never met before. Like, dude,
I've been there. I've
I
been there.
follow you, like, and
Yeah.
it's just like, dude, I'm just a camera guy, but like how passionate and like energetic they are to like meeting me, right?
Yeah.
And that's the world to me because I'm like, dude, I just take pictures, and
Right.
like the fact that people value me in that sense is very meaningful to me, and it's like sure, like I have probably quite a few people like that who follow me, but also probably have people like, well, if I'm not posting Josh Allen and I'm posting, somebody cooking a steak, they're like, I don't need to follow this guy,
That's
which is
crazy.
fine because then it's not genuine, and
Sure.
I don't want nothing that's not genuine, right? But it's like also like if you support me, and I feel like it's about growing too, right? Like you grow with people. That's how I look at it because I've done what I've been doing for maybe 8 years now, and it's like you've grown with me because everything that I've done has gotten different.
Hmm.
Maybe you think it's gotten worse, maybe you think it's gotten better, but like we grow together, right? So it's like I can show you, the things that I've done or can do, and it's gone in a specific direction, and it's either you stuck with me through that and grew with me, or you go the other way, which is absolutely fine. It just shows that you outgrow things. You're not into them things that you may have been into or don't like the way things go. And like you look at TV shows, like a TV show starts off great and then it starts getting bad. You just don't watch it
Yeah.
anymore. And that's completely fine. But I feel like I'm holding myself back the more I don't share what I can do.
Yeah, I agree with that. But it's also like kind of like I was thinking about when you were talking about people unfollowing you, but like you follow somebody because you like their work and like I would assume you're a fan of what they do. Like, why wouldn't you be happy for them that they're like expanding what they do? I don't know. That's just me.
Well, that's
Personally. I
just what
don't
I'm saying
understand it.
because there's people out there who just want Bill stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
Like which is fine because I mean that's Bills fans are very passionate, and it's not like a personal thing.
Yeah.
It's like any like you see all these social medias who aren't even like people.
Especially the behind the scenes stuff too
Yeah.
with the Bills.
Well, it's also like, do you find value in that though? You can't expect everybody to care about that. People just want to see the good stuff.
Yeah.
which and everybody's different, which is
Yeah, I was
that's
gonna
why
say some
that's why
people
social
just
media
want
is
to.
such a beautiful thing.
Yeah, some people just want to see the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, but it's like I feel like I don't want to say I need to expand like the vision because the vision's already expanded, but just sharing the expanded vision,
Yeah, the stuff's already there. Just
Yeah, and
post
it's
it.
like even like posting bandit stuff, like it doesn't get as much traction in any way, shape, or form as the Bill stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
like there's still people who like really, really dig it,
Yeah.
But it's just like, because I feel like I used to try to do things to make my followers happy because like a lot of them came from the Buffalo Fanatics. Shout out to Fanatics, they've built me up from the beginning and been a huge part of my success. And then like the whole Josh and Diggs thing. Like when I went to Florida with them during COVID, like those were two, main things of my following. And the reason like the people from the Fanatics followed me is because I did Bills photos. And then the Josh Allen and Diggs thing, they're like, well, this dude's got access nobody has. Like this
Right.
is sick. What else does this guy got to offer? And like for years I rode the wave of like, how can I make these people happy, right? Instead of being like, well, man, I'm really taking away from myself.
Yeah.
By feeling like I need to post specific things instead of like what's actually going on, business wise. And the thing is too, like I have a personal Instagram, but I also have Croom Photos, and like you go on Croom Photos and like maybe you watch my stories or whatever. You're like, well, it's not like photos, It's like it's more like my life, and it's just like Croom Photos is my life. Like that's like I've been so like in stone with everything that has been behind that. It's not like that's just who I am. Like this is the life I live, and it's not different. Like I'll post more personal stuff on my actual Instagram, but like the life I live as far as Croom Photos, like that's my life. That's like the person I am every single day. Like it's not, you see a lot of photographers, which I'm sure is better for business, like just keeping it straight photos and stuff, but like that's not me. And I feel like the reason I've became so successful is because I'm myself.
Yeah.
I'm not like trying to be two different people.
Right. Yeah, you've talked about that before.
What's also like, I'm sure there's some things that I'll post. Like one thing I try to stop posting is like shotgunning, right? Because even though like it gets posted of me, but it's like, there's some type of professionalism, right? But also at the same time, it's like I'm not gonna hide who I am,
right?
Like this is who I am. Like sure, I'm a photographer, but I'm also a Bills fan, just like everybody else, and I love to have fun, just like everybody else. And this is who I am. I want you to, respect me or like me as a person, as who I am, instead of like a guy who takes pictures. Because I don't want to give you anything that's not genuine. I know I said that 100 times, but like that's real to me. I'm not trying to be like this guy on social media who you don't know. Like, no, I want you to know me as the dude that loves to have fun and loves to take pictures and is very passionate about his life. Like, that's who I am.
Yeah, that's something that I've been trying to do too, because just being like involved in church and stuff like that, there's been some drinking stuff, I guess, like pictures and stuff that I've posted that I've gotten some backlash on. And like I kind of just always say like, I just want to be real with you. Like I'm not gonna sit here and hide it, and then it comes out that like, oh, Shane drinks. Like I know I'm from South Buffalo too. At the end of the day, and I've been born and raised in bars, and I want to get away from that culture. Like obviously, I think I offer more than that, but yeah, it's kind of like. But to go back to what you were saying, I was thinking about again was just like I feel like you proved yourself as like the Bills guy photographer, and I think that you should be allowed to branch off and do more now, because like we know that you know what you're doing when it comes to the Bills, and you've done it, you've been there. It's like, all right, well, I also even like to work with Chef Darian, like that's awesome. Like, he's a big deal, and it's awesome that you get to do that. And like working with the Bandits, anybody who I don't want to say hates on that, but unfollows you because it's not the Bills, I think it's like you said, yeah, they're not genuine, and I can understand why it's like, yeah, let them go.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not here to like, I feel like we have such a tendency to want to like live life to make everybody else happy.
Well, you want to be liked, right?
Well, I don't want to say that because I mean, I don't really care about that. As long as I know who I am, I don't really care what anybody
Fair
thinks of
enough.
me. That's what I'm saying. Like,
I wasn't
like,
saying you specifically.
no,
I was saying, like,
but that's
people.
also why I say like social media is like a hey, look at me thing. It's like, what can I do to make everybody like me? Like, that's why I say I just want to be myself. If you don't like me, that's the
Right.
reason for you to go.
I agree with
and
that.
that's fine. I don't expect everybody to like me or be likable, which is fine. That's why there's so many different people out there. Like I said, social media is a beautiful thing for it.
Yeah, and it's funny because like like you see that the memories on your Facebook,
Hmm.
you see who liked it, and you look down, it's like, oh, add friend, add friend, add friend. Like
That's
they
my dude.
deleted me.
I literally do that all the time. That's like my favorite thing to do.
I don't think I've ever deleted anyone on Facebook, but
Me either.
somehow,
That's why I know it's so funny to me. And like, the thing is with me, I don't care how petty this sounds. If I seen that you deleted me on Facebook, don't when you see me in public, don't act like my friend. As petty as that
yeah,
sounds, I don't care. That means I did, and the way I look at it is success, right? Because I don't post anything on my Facebook. I don't make statuses. I haven't made a Facebook status in probably 8 years. Everything is a photo or something that I have going on, like photo-wise or business. I don't ever post anything else. I don't ever make a status about what Jimmy John's is doing or nothing.
the sub place.
Well, it came out that way,
I got you. I got you.
But that's my favorite thing. Like, anybody, like I'll literally call you out, as petty as it sounds. Like,
I get it. That makes sense.
and it's
to me.
always like when I'm out, they're like, "Oh, bro, good to see you." I was like, "Yeah, so good to see me. You had to delete me 6 years ago."
Because what? Because they made that decision because something you did made them not want to see what you're doing.
But that's why I love it. Because
Yeah.
like, I mean, I'm not trying to like do the success thing, like, because like I have so many people who I have to hear through like the grapevine, like, "Oh, you don't deserve to be in that space," blah blah blah, and it's like, that's fine.
It's like, you're probably right, but here I am.
No, but it's like I don't care how petty it sounds. Like, don't
I
act
agree
like
with
my
you
friend.
again.
Like, oh, because it's always the people like, "Oh, I see you doing like nah, no, you don't.
You
Because we're not
saw
friends."
that I was doing that.
It's just funny, bro. Everybody just like, I don't know. I'm like I said, I know it sounds petty as fuck because it's like childish shit, but like I don't care. Like, either you support me or you don't, and I feel like you not being my friend anymore means you no longer trying to support me.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, for sure. Something you did ticked them off, and
and that's fine. But
if you know what you're
but
doing,
the way I look at it though is like, what I don't, you know what I'm saying? It's literally just me like, "Oh, I did this photo shoot today," or like this,
Right.
and it's like, man, he don't deserve that. Like, fuck this
it's
guy.
wild. Nobody probably deserves anything that we get, if it's good or bad. But embrace it. I don't. What good comes from hating on somebody that's doing?
People have done better to do though.
That's 100% true.
It's like an envious thing, right?
I remember
The same people who do that are the same people asking if they can hold my bag at a photo shoot.
Yeah, which I've done before
You've held my bag?
at a South Park Sparks game. Yeah, I definitely did.
Coach Sparks?
Yeah, absolutely. But
That's funny. Chris held my bag at Von Miller's Pass Rush Summit.
oh man, what two different things here? But yeah, that's. Oh yeah, I was gonna say I heard a quote. I think it was from Kevin Hart. He was on Joe Rogan and he said like, hating on people is like the cool thing. Now, like people think that that's like the cool thing, because like there's always somebody like those people are the same people who are like, hey man, like oh I just got invited to go to this player's house to do this thing. Is like, oh that dude's trash, bro. Like it's like, but why are you hating on that? Those are those kind of people.
And that's one thing, like, I lose respect for people so fast, right? Especially like the one time, it hasn't happened yet, and I know like for guests that I'd like to have on here, someone always would say some dumb shit. Like, when I have like an athlete on the podcast, I try to do like a fan segment where like fans can ask questions through social media so I can ask them. And I know there's like a couple people who I'd have on the podcast where people would be like, asking why he's trash, or like, and it's like, please, I'll give you that. You can come here and you tell him. Like, oh, no, I'm just kidding. Like, no, the fact that you think that I would ask the stupid-ass question like that in my profession for my relationship is wild to me. And that just shows that you don't respect me. And I just like, there's so many people that are like that, though.
But at the same, and you're right about that. And at the same time, it's like, who are you to hate on these people? Like, you wake up in the morning, you go to your job, your boss tells you what to do. This dude's a professional athlete.
Did you see the quote that Tua had the other day?
Nah.
Because there was like people, I don't remember the play or whatever, but it was like, he's like, the only people that are hating on what I did are the people who are eating potato chips on their mom's couch.
I saw that. Yeah, I did see that.
That's not obviously word for word. The
Right.
context was there, though.
Yeah.
Which is good. I mean, I'm glad he said that because, you're like, well, if you're a professional NFL quarterback, then I'd maybe understand, but like, you're not.
No. You have no idea what it's like to
Yeah.
even be in that element. to be able to do something, especially like UFC, man. I hate watching the UFC. You hear people like, dude, I would have knocked that guy out, man. I would have never. The biggest thing to me is I wouldn't tap. I wouldn't tap. It's like, yo, shut up, dude. Like 100%. Like you got someone on your back choking you out. Yeah, you're definitely tapping. But people, man, that's just like the
Like,
world.
if I was there, I would have.
Yeah.
I would have just did the Kimura instead of getting choked out.
Yeah. Like, dude, no, you wouldn't, man. You'd get kicked in the leg by these people and shatter your leg.
Well, it's like, bro, like the check kicks. Like, bro, if you took a check kick, you tap,
Oh,
you'd
it
be done.
hurts so much,
It's over.
dude.
You ain't
It
get
hurts so
like people
much.
look at the check kicks like, oh, he checked it, he's good to go. Like, no, that shit still hurt.
No, that hurts so much, man. You're not ignoring that for sure. But that's the world we live in. And I think that people just like want themselves to be validated, and that's why they hate on other people to try to make themselves feel better about what they got going on.
Yeah, it's just, I feel like it's hard to find people that have anything good to say about people. Like everybody's just like, like they just expect people to have like be 100% at like a profession,
Yeah.
and you're just like, he's like 98.
Yeah.
Like, oh well, but it's like, Drake said it best. Like people will scream your failures and whisper your accomplishments. And that's just the world we live in. Like, you can have a great life, whether it's like, sports wise or whatever, and just be extremely successful. But you have that one little thing that like brings you down a little bit. That's the only thing people care about.
That's crazy, but it 100% true. Yeah, and no matter how big you are, like that's anybody in life. But it's crazy because like I was just, I mean, I get obviously being a Bills fan, but I was just watching Stephen A. saying on First Take that Josh Allen's like the MVP right now. And, like the comments, I'm like, people just hate on. I'm like, how can you hate on this guy? Like the dude gives 110%. Like, but it's like people are just gonna find a reason.
I feel like it's also bias coming from a Bills fan though.
The
Because
dude's
like
beast, though.
could you imagine like being a Ravens fan? Like obviously you'd be like, okay, Lamar is obviously like kind of balling too.
Sure.
And obviously you're gonna kind of roll with your guy. Like, I mean, the Bills fan base is increased since like we've been very good, like especially worldwide. But like as far as like a fan base, we're still super small.
I get it, but at the same time, like the Bills were projected to do nothing, and everybody said,
I feel like we always have been though.
There's been some years where like, yeah, the Bills are going to be a problem, but I think this year, like a lot of people looked at the Bills of like the Dolphins are going to win the division, the Jets are going to win the division. Josh Allen is playing unbelievable football, dude, and he's leading the team in a way that like it's MVP. That's why I got this shirt, MVP quality right here. Shout out Josh Allen. He's the best in the league, bro. I don't care.
I agree. You have to. You also have to stand by your guys too. Like I love the underdog shit, right?
Right.
Like I don't want to have like the top guys like I don't want to look good on paper if that makes sense. I want the guys that have to have their back against the wall and figure out how to be successful.
That's him.
And that's our whole team, right?
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
And like I'll ride with the Bills any day, but like now it's like on paper, like, oh, well, this ain't going to be a good year because of this. Like, Josh has all new receivers, like, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, let him cook.
Yeah.
Like,
Cook is.
Watch. It's just crazy how things look because I swear the Jets were going to be phenomenal this year. And, boy.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it's not even about, like, the top talent. It's just about your team clicking. I think that's what we got going on.
Well, I think we have such a camaraderie too, in the way that McDermott, like, has the locker room set up. There's a lot of like places in the NFL. I mean, a lot of people might not know this, but a lot of places in the NFL, their position like separated in the locker room. So it's like, the O-line guys are next to their O-line guys, receivers are with the receivers, running backs like cornerbacks are next to the running back, receivers are next to the tight ends, like. The D line is next to the O line. Like everybody's just mingled, and like they do so much outside of the game, to have more personal relationships and just like connect with each other. And I feel like that's such a valued thing, and that's why, Buffalo was not a destination anybody wanted to go to. Now it's like, you see people even if they're here for a short amount of time, like. Buffalo's the place. Like, look at Jordan Phillips. Like, Jordan Phillips loves this place, and he's been with the Cardinals. He was with the Dolphins before us. Then he was with the Giants. Then he was with the Cowboys, and it's like he still wants to be in Buffalo because Buffalo is just like the place to be.
It's nice where you could play for a team that like you're just hanging out with your boys.
Yeah.
and playing football, and I think that's what Buffalo is, and it's showing on the field, man. Because like even when we went to Miami, I remember that was early in the year, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was second or third game.
Yeah, because I remember like walking out of the stadium. Obviously, I wasn't myself drinking, but I remember getting into it with like a Dolphins fan, and I was like, dude, the Bills are better than like we think that anybody thinks. Like this is just a really great team. And I remember even hearing that somebody thought that, I forgot who said that, they thought the Bills were going to tank this year to try and get like to rebuild. And like, dude, we are playing incredible football right now. And I pray we don't jinx them right now, but dude, I don't know. They are playing so good. Just connecting out there.
Yeah, and I feel like that's been like the standard, for, who we are as a team, let alone as an organization. I feel like that's very important to note because it's obviously, the proof's in the pudding.
Yeah.
And it shows.
Absolutely. I can't wait to get some hate on this podcast.
No one's gonna listen to it this far in. I ain't
They
worried
should.
about this at all.
It was interesting.
Where are we at? It'll be probably like, let me guess. I'll say it'll be like an hour and 18. No, I'll say it's an hour and 23 minutes.
Well, as soon as we're done talking about Final Fuzz, Steve's going to turn it off.
Hour and 23 minutes is nobody's making it this far.
Well, hopefully they do. We're talking about some good stuff. We're going to have to chop it up into, into reels. Get the Bills fans going here. But I mean it, man. I don't know. I think Josh Allen is just a leader, born leader.
Well, yeah, I guess that's we're this deep in it, and nobody's going to watch it this long. We might as well just call it a wrap. I mean, I don't want to say it's a wrap on 2024 because, like I said, I plan to do a couple more pods. But as far as a personal pod, first one of the year, last one of the year.
Yeah.
I wanted to do this so much longer ago, but life happens.
Yeah, we've talked about it.
A few times, but appreciate you coming here and chopping it up.
Love it, man. I'll do it anytime that I can, at least.
But hope everybody had a great 2024 and has a better 2025. And if you made it this far in this podcast, God bless you and thank you.
Also, get a life. No,
yeah, right. But appreciate the support, man. It's been, I feel like, very very big this year, more than a lot, because I've been doing so many different things, and especially like the cold plunging thing. Like, people reach out to me about that like almost on a daily basis, and it's like, however I can help anybody in any aspect, whether it's photography, training, mental health, whatever. That's what I'm into, and I feel like this year has been very, very special in that perspective for me, and others, and I appreciate that, and go Bills, and
absolutely.
Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, and
Run it. I can't take no loss. I don't even know what it costs. I hit the ground, then it go off. Yeah, hit the